Hello, everybody. Davey Stalo coming at you on a nice, warm November evening. Of course, it's starting to cool down now, but this whole day was fantastic. Got out and went to lunch with my mom. Had a fun time with her. Went to the music store. Couldn't find any books, but I did score a couple of CDs that I was quite surprised were there. First one was the brand new Dream Theater album. Heard this. Um, it's okay. Hasn't really sunk in yet. I've only listened to it a couple times on YouTube Music, but I'm sure it'll get there. The other one, Warren Zevon, last album, and from what I understand, he passed away not too long after they put this out. And the funny part about this, I bought this used from Entertainment Mart, and the person who owned it before me has a little sticker on here with her name on there. So Margaret, I end up with your CD if you ever see this. She's also got written on here, he died in 2003, which is correct. And then she got 2004, 420. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's when she bought this. I don't know. But anyway, Warren Zevon, very talented man. Wasn't a big fan back in the day, when he was really, really popular. But I've listened to his stuff more lately, and it's funny how the radio can make and break an artist or a band. And that's the problem. They play the same song over and over and over again, and ultimately you get so tired of hearing that song that you don't really want to even attempt to listen to anything else the person or band has to offer. And of course, it's really unfair to the band or the artist, but that's the way it goes, But anyway, I mean, get out there and check out Warren Zevon's catalog. I mean, he's got a lot of great music. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a psychological thing with most people. I'm one of them. Like I said, you get that one song or two songs from the radio. Like with Warren, it was "Werewolves of London." That's the only song you ever heard. He's got tons of great songs. Rolling the Headless Thompson Gunner, and all kinds of other songs. I mean, this last one, I've only heard it once, but it's got some, from what I remember, it's got some good stuff. Dirty Life and Times, Disorder in the House, Knocking on Heaven's Door. That's okay, but I don't think you needed to do that one. But Numb as a Statue, Prison Grove, good stuff. But it's just too bad that the radio has to lock in on that one song. And I do like Werewolves London, but there's so much more to his catalog than just that. But anyway, moving on to the ranking the albums part. I was going to do a different band, but in honor of Graeme Edge and Ray Thomas, former member or late members of the Moody Blues, we're going to do the rankings of their albums. So anyway, started right off with the one I only listened to the end of the year. and that is December. I don't have a physical copy of it, but it's their Christmas album. It's good, but I'm really not a Christmassy kind of guy. I really haven't been since I was a kid. Um, but I'll put this on and I'll play it from time to time during this time of year. But other than that, no. I mean, it's got some covers on here. Happy Christmas by John Lennon, Yoko Ono. When the Child is Born cover, White Christmas, Irving Berlin cover. But it's got some pretty good songs by the band. Don't need a reindeer. December snow. On the Christmas day, it's decent. Just not my year-long cup of tea. And it's only got Justin Heyward, John Lodge, and Graeme Edge playing on it. They do have a keyboardist, Danielo. I'm terrible with names. Mandania. Apologies if I butchered that. And Norda Mullen on flute. But Danello. Yeah, I'm sure that's the way it is. But if it's not, an apology. Does the keyboards and sequencing and orchestration on it. And that's it. I mean, that's, 5 people playing on this album. Anyway, it was released in 2003. Their last album they've released. Of course, they called it quits, from what I understand, 2018. They haven't done. Of course, now that Graeme Edge is gone, I doubt there'll ever be another Moody Blues concert or album. But that's going to be up to Justin and John. It'd be kind of neat if they got back together with Mike Pinder and did something. Anything's possible. And anyway, moving right along, that was my number 15, December. Moving right along. Number 14. Pull it up here. Released on 1999. I don't have a physical copy of this one. Strange Times. I've listened to this album a couple times, and it's just too electronic. Some of the songs are good, but and a lot of songs. 14 songs on here. They do have. They do have a song from Ray Thomas on here. I think that's the only one. Yes. I did not know that. I don't know if Ray sings on that or not. But at the time they did this, I don't think Ray was a member of the band. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is his last album. Yeah. Strange Times was his Ray's last album. So, like I said, it's a decent album. And just getting past the electronic sound that they had going on here is just, maybe with more listens it'll grow on me. But right now, now that's going to be my number 14. So anyway, number 13, another one I don't have a physical copy of, is Sirlum or Sirlum. I guess I'm pronouncing that wrong. Again, it's a good album. I've only heard that a few times. That's what happens when you don't have a physical copy. This one was released in 88, so there was quite a big gap between this one and Strange Times. But good track listing. I Know You're Out There Somewhere was the big hit from it. River of Endless Love, that was a good one. No More Lies, Vintage Wine is a good one. But another album that just hasn't really sunk in. And of course, when you only have that, you've only heard that one song until you listen to the album. The one song that gets played on the radio, I Know You're Out There Somewhere. But good strong album, but just not one I reach for, or if I could reach for it, I wouldn't reach for it very often. This one was the last one with Patrick Moraz on it as on keyboards. And touching up on Patrick, way he left the band, I don't know. It just left a bad taste in my mouth, the way they treated him at the end there. Maybe there was other things behind the scene, but from what I've read and heard, it just, well, for one thing, you don't bring somebody in and have them on photo shoots and listed on the album if you don't do that if they're only support personnel. As far as I'm concerned, if they're listed with the band, they're part of the band. But Justin and Judge, I don't know Graham's view on this, or what his view was. But Justin and John, excuse me, I just think they could have been a little more kinder. Patrick, he wanted more say on the albums, and I don't blame him. I mean, when you're treated as a part of the band, you expect to be treated with respect and ask for your input. I've seen too many bands over the years who've bought somebody in to replace a key member, and they treat that person badly. Metallica is one with what's his face? I'm drawing a blank here, but you guys know who I'm talking about. It's just horrible. Roger Waters, he treated the rest of the band, and Pink Floyd like support personnel. And I think he still does today. I mean, but I won't get into that. But that's my number 13, Sirlum. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, moving right along. The rest of this catalog, I do have physical copies. Number 12. Number 12 is released in 1991. Keys of the Kingdom. This is the last purchase I made of the Moody Blues, and it's good. Good album. I was going to put this at number 13, but I was just listening to it a little while ago, and I like this a little bit better than Sirlum. I think I like the stronger track listing, and has a couple songs one song by Ray Thomas by himself, and one that he collaborated with Justin Heyward on. Ray Thomas, talented man, and I really like his songs. I mean, not taking anything away from John and Justin, I just wish they would have gave Ray more time on the albums. I mean, he was a talented guy. Great singing voice. In fact, that's the other thing I wanted to touch on the Sirlum. One of Patrick Moraz's problems with that, he had a problem with that album, and I think a lot of people did because of the Ray Thomas. His vocals were taken off or diminished, and Patrick Moraz was very angry about that with the producer, and that's one of the things that I think that led to his being taken off the band or fired from the band. But anyway, I can't help wonder if Patrick had been on this album, would it have sounded like? I mean, he did do keyboards on Say What You Mean, and Celtic Sonata, and Magic. Only three tracks on this one. I don't know if they'd been done before or what was going on there, but they had a lot of support personnel on this album. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people helping them out on this. But so he did play on some of the songs on this one. Say It With Love. I think that was their hit song from here. Good strong song. Bless the Wings, great song. Is This Heaven? Good one. Ray's song, Celtic Sonata, I just love. I mean, his voice is just magic. I just wish he would have sung on more of the songs on here. But no one of those albums I haven't listened to very much, and maybe down the road, I'll rate higher later on. So, okay, number 11. We're to number 11. Released in 1983. It was the last one released on their custom label, Threshold Records. Threshold Records had been around quite a while. Anyway, it is The Present. Good artwork on this one. Love that spaceship. When I first bought this, it was on the tail, or coming off of their success with the long distance Voyager. Of course, if you look on the back here, right there, there's the Voyager spacecraft. That was on Long Distance Voyager as well. I don't know if it was on any other ones. I don't think it was. But this one's got a good track listing. It's not high up on, I don't reach for this as that often. Blue World, great song. Meet Me Halfway. Sitting at the Wheel, probably my favorite song off here. One of my favorite songs off here. Going Nowhere, Hole in the World. Under My Feet. It's Cold Outside Your Heart. Ray's two songs, I think. Yeah. That's the other thing I've always noticed about the Moody Blues albums is how later on Ray's songs get delegated to the end of the album. If that, whether or not he only wrote maybe two or three songs, I don't know. Maybe he wrote more. I don't know. Seems to be by this time Justin and John had basically become the leaders of the band. So, but I Am and Sorry, I love those two tracks. They're probably, other than Sitting at the Wheel, my really the favorite ones from this album. My favorite on this album. So, anyway, The Present. That was number 11. Okay. Number 10. Now, this album was the last one with founding member Mike Pinder. And Mike was a great singer. He could write great songs. He still can. I mean, I've seen Mike do interviews recently, and he looks like he hasn't aged a day. I mean, other than having very little hair on his head anymore. I mean, he looks like he could go out and crank out some tunes. That's why I say it'd be great if he would get to with John and Justin and do an album or two. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, number 10 is Octave. There's the band. This album doesn't get a lot of love. I mean, when it first came out, I mean, they'd been or hadn't done anything together for quite a while. It was their basically a reunion album, but it got thrown under the wheels by the critics, and it came out probably at a bad time when punk rock was becoming the in thing, and people like the Moody Blues was delegated to Dinosaur Land, prehistoric times. And also disco was coming out. I remember I almost got sucked into disco. I think I made it through there, but anyway, this album's it's got some good songs, good strong songs. Step in the Slide Zone was the main one. Under Moonshine by Ray. Last time he'd have a song near the end or starting of the album. Had to Fall in Love. I'll Be Level With You by Graeme Edge. Driftwood, great song. Top Ranked Suite. I'm Your Man, another Ray Thomas one. Survival. Step Into the Light, Mike Pinder. I think I think that's the only song that he does on his own. He does sing lead with Justin, Ray, and John on I'll Be Level With You, but One Step in the Light is his solo effort on here. And it ends with The Day We Meet Again by Justin. It's a good album. I think the critics were a little bit harsh on it, but then, like I said, it was right when disco and punk was coming in, and it was just bad timing to make a comeback. But had it been done a little bit earlier or maybe later, it probably would have been a better fit with people. But right now, it's doing a lot better with people. So anyway, octave number 10, number 9. This one was their last album before the reunion. I think, yeah. So basically, almost 6 years had passed between this one and Octave. So released in 1972, Seventh Sojourn. Good album. Oh, be careful, knock my water over. There's the band. I can get it into the camera here. A lot of people love this album, and I do. But when this came out, they said that you could tell, and I could tell by listening to it that the band was kind of probably getting sick and tired of touring all the time, and they weren't gelling as they had been in the past. In fact, you go listen to interviews when they talk about this period, they needed to get away from each other, re-energize. But despite all that, it still got some great tunes. Lost in the Lost World by Mike Pinder. New Horizons, Justin Heyward. For My Lady, Ray Thomas. Isn't Life Strange? Out of all the songs on this album, that's the one I like the least. Excuse me. It's still, it's got good harmony, but it just doesn't get to me. You and Me's okay. The Land of Make Believe, okay. When You're a Free Man, all right. I'm a singer in the rock and roll band. That was their big hit from this. The album, as a whole, it starts out strong, but it kind of diminishes. People say, well, what about singing in a rock and roll band? Other than Isn't Life Strange, I don't really care for that song. It just, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't. I sit there and listen to it, and it's just the same thing over. It's too repetitive for me. But Other than those two songs, it's a decent album. I could have rated this lower, but I like it a little bit better than the ones that came before this. So, seventh, so Yarn, number 9. And number 10, or number 10, number 8. Okay. Kind of go back in time here. Released in 1970. The album reached number 1 in the United Kingdom and number 3 in the United States when it came out. That is A Question of Balance. Again, great album cover. Remember when I buying these albums, I just was fascinated by the covers. I'd sit there and look and see the little things I could find on them. And even today, if you look at these covers, you can still find something that you didn't know was there before. But this fantastic album, it doesn't have as much that I like as others. Of course, Question. I love that song. One of the songs that I can listen to over and over again, and I can never get tired of. It's just way starts out fast and then goes into the mellow part. It's fantastic. Then it goes into How's We Are Here. Sounds okay. Another Mike Pinder penned and sung one. Not one of his strongest songs, but it's okay. And The Tide Rushes In by Ray Thomas. Fantastic song. Ray, this period, as far as I'm concerned, this period, Ray could do no wrong. Don't You Feel Small, Graeme Edge. For some reason, if I didn't I didn't read it was Graeme Edge, I would still know it was Graeme Edge because it sounds like something he would write. Tortoise and the Hare, John Lodge song. It's Up to You. Justin Heyward, Minstrel Song. Fantastic song by John. Dawning is a Day, another great song. Melancholy Man by Mike Pinder. Moody song. I mean, I don't know. Unless you've heard it, it's really hard to explain. It's one of those songs where, you don't know what you just love it for its moodiness. It takes you on a trip, to it could take you on a trip to dark areas, but at the same time, you can still see the light at the end of the tunnel. But it's just a fantastic song. The Balance, Edge and Thomas penned. Pinder, it's not sung. Pinder does a narration of it. It's a good little tune, but not one of my favorites. So, anyway, move on. Question of Balance. Okay. We're getting close to the top tier here. Going to number 7. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but this is me. This is the stuff I like in this order. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who probably put this album at number one, but that's you. This is this is what I like. This, anyway, released in July of 1968. In Search of the Lost Chord. Interesting cover. I mean, when I first saw that cover, I'm like, okay, you got the, I guess that's the sun coming up, or is it an atomic bomb going off? Because then you got these things down here, the skull and this unborn baby, and these people right here. What's going on there? On the back, it's got, of course, the band. Great album. It's just, I don't reach for it too as much as the other ones that are going to come after this. Ride My Seesaw, one of their staples for their live shows. Dr. Livingston, I presume. Ray Thomas, fantastic one. House of Four Doors. Interesting tune by John. Legend of the Mind. Now, of all Ray's songs, Legend of the Mind is my least favorite. It just, when I first heard it, I liked it, but it's not one of those songs that has aged. Sorry, Ray. I'll still listen to it, but it just doesn't grab me as much as other songs. House of Four Doors Part 2. Voices in the Sky. Fantastic tune by Justin. Best Way to Travel. Mike Pinder tune. Like Legend of the Mind by Ray. The Best Way to Travel is my least favorite tune by Mike Pinder. And there's one part on there, I don't know what, it's long drawn out whistle. I don't know if it's a flute or what, but I've had the song playing on our excuse me, playing on our for music that's on our showroom down at the shop. And when that comes on, I've had people, some of the guys say, "What is that horrid sound?" I go, "It's the Moody Blues." Says, "Well, yeah, but what is that long drawn out whistle or flute?" And I agree. That part comes up, and I just cringe every time it plays. So, sorry, Mike. Anyway, moving right along. Visions of Paradise. Heyward and Ray Thomas. Love that song. I mean, it's just another one of those songs that just reaches out and grabs you. The Actor, also a great song. The Word, Mike does a great narration of Graeme Edge's poem. And Graeme, he could write great poems. He could, when he sat down and got the work, he could write some great songs too. I mean, later on, he'd write some great, fantastic songs. He just, I don't know why he didn't do more. Who knows? Only the band knows that. But anyway, the Word leads right into Om, written by Pinder, sung by Mike and Ray. fantastic. First time I heard Om, I fell in love with it. The centaur guitars on that, I mean, just fantastic. Um, you could actually get this 4 discs or 5 disc set. Yeah. Oh, DVD, a couple of DVDs. But anyway, just a fantastic album. It's just one I don't reach for as much as these other ones that are going to come or they're coming up. So, but anyway, definitely need to check this stuff out. Like I've said before in my other videos, get on YouTube, listen to it, to these albums. If you love it, go out and support the band, buy their stuff. If you don't, hey, you're out just a few minutes of your time. So, but anyway, that's number 7, Search of the Lost Chord. Okay, number 6. Number 6. Where's number 6? Oh, here we are, number 6. You like number 6? Okay, this one was released in 1986. They released quite a few albums in 1980s, more than I realized. This is actually their 12th studio album. And yeah, The Other Side of Life. Fantastic songs, really strong album. Your Wildest Dreams, fantastic. I remember the video. I love the video. One of those few songs that I've heard on the radio quite a bit that I still love. And there are those songs that can be played on the radio over and over again. You don't get sick and tired of them. There are others that after 4 or 5 times listen to it, you just want them to shut up and go to something else. But not this one. Talking, decent track. I think it's one of the weaker tracks on the album. Rock and Roll Over You, okay. Not a big fan. I Just Don't Care, good song. Running Out of Love, okay. Other Side of Life, good song. The Spirit, Slings and Arrows, not the best. It May Be a Fire, good song. Other than a couple of songs, good strong album. I don't think. Let's see. Yeah, there's no one of the few albums that doesn't have any Ray Thomas penned songs or sung. Yeah. So that's the only thing that's missing from this album is Ray's voice, other than backing voice or back vocals. But it still doesn't take away from the album. It's a good strong effort. Anyway, go check it out. Other Side of Life. Okay, now we're on the top 5. And all of these could change places except for my number 1. None of the albums could possibly come close to taking the place of my number 1. Ever. And you'll find out why. But anyway, number 5, at least in April of 1969, On the Threshold of a Dream. Now, one of those album covers that you look at and you can find all these weird things, like you got the robot. Wish this was the gatefold, but you got this robot thing right there. And looks like an ice, It kind of reminds me of something from Lost in Space. But there's the back cover. I believe this came in a gatefold when it originally came out. But anyway, strong track listing in the beginning. Love to See You, one of their staples for their concerts. Dear Diary, love that song. It always gets a smile out of me when I listen to it. Send Me No Wine, great song. To Share Your Love, another one. So Deep Within You, Never Comes the Day, Lazy Day, another great one by Ray Thomas. Are You Sitting Comfortably, great song. The Dream. Have you heard and the Voyage? Have you heard parts 1 and 2 and that Voyage? Okay. Not some of my favorite material, but it's decent. But other than that, strong album. And it comes from a period where it seems the Moody Blues could do no wrong. So, On the Threshold of a Dream. Number 5. Number 4. This one, like I said, any of these albums except for my number 1 could change places with each other. But this one, it just one of those captivating albums. Released November 1969. To Our Children's Children. Another great, fantastic album cover. I mean, just don't get better than this. Some people argue with the point that can, but I'm sorry, no. Other than a few spots here, the whole album is really strong. Higher and Higher. I mean, boom, there it is, and you're, it's like you're taking this, you're riding the rocket that it's talking about into space, and that's what it's about. Is the launching of, I believe Apollo 11. I could be wrong, but it's I think these songs were written about around that time when Apollo 11 was landing on the moon. Higher and Higher leads into The Eyes of a Child, Part 1. Then Floating by Ray Thomas, fantastic. Then Eyes of a Child, Part 2, great. You can almost say a sandwich track right there. I never thought I'd live to be 100. Little 1 minute tune by Justin. Beyond, great instrumental by Edge. In and Out, another good song. One of the weaker ones of the whole album. Gypsy, love Gypsy. Another one of those songs I'll never get tired of. Eternity Road, strong. Probably one of the top tier tracks by Ray Thomas. It's just hauntingly mellow, it's mellow. It's one of those mellow songs, but it's got a slight edge to it. But I just love that song. And it was followed up by John Lodge penned track, "Candle of Life." Another fantastic song. Uh, "Sun is Still Shining." I love that. Mike Pinder pen song. Then it's followed by 34-second little piece. I never thought live to be a million, and then ends with "Watching and Waiting." Strong. I mean, the only weak points would be the two "I Never Thought I'd Live to Be" little tracks, and "In and Out." Other than that, "Eternity Road," "Candle of Life," "Gypsy," "Eyes of a Child," is fantastic. Go out, if you've never heard these albums, go out and get them, or at least check them out on YouTube, please. To our children. All right. All right. Number 3. Okay, the top threes here. Now, this album, I could say, is the one that got me really into the Moody Blues. When I heard the opening track, they played it on the radio. In fact, I was at the old Skill Center North. There's a trade school that was in the old Weber High School. So if you're in Ogden area and remember the old Weber High School, I want to say that's where I first heard this song. I was sitting in the office and this came on the radio. And it just reached out and grabbed me by the collar and pulled me in. Before this I knew who the Moody Blues were, but I wasn't really into them until I heard this. Released in May of 1981 on Threshold, "Long Distance Voyager." And of course, there's the "Long Distance Voyager" right there. There's a lot of people that say there's this guy right here, but another interesting album cover. That was a gatefold. There's the interior. One of those album covers you look at and find all kinds of neat little things. But like I said, this is the album that got me to become a Moody Blues fan. The voice. I remember sitting in that office and that came on. It just sent chills down my spine. I mean, I just loved it. I still do. I still love that song today. "Talking Out of Turn," fantastic song by John. "Gemini Dream," fun song. "In My World," love it. "Meanwhile," good song. If there's a weak song on there, this is one of them. The heck? I'm sorry. Listen to the track listing here. This song is supposed to be 22,000 Days. One of my favorites from this coming in at second, strong second to The Voice. On here, though, whoever put it down, they have 22.00 days. That's how they got it down here. So 22.00 days. Maybe they re-recorded it, made it more acceptable. Short. You're only alive for 22.00 days. I don't know, but great song. Graeme Edge. They got down with lead vocals, but I think it was a whole band that did the vocals. But he wrote that song, and like I was talking about earlier, Graeme could write fantastic songs. This is his best effort out of all the stuff he's penned. This is his number one, as far as I'm concerned. Nervous, good song. One of the weaker tracks, Painted Smile. Another song, least favorite by Ray's. Still a good song. The Reflective Smile is okay. Though it leads into one of my favorite Ray tunes, Veteran Cosmic Rocker. Fantastic ending to an album. And see, it was this time that Ray got delegated to the basement of the album. Why, I have no idea. But from this point on, Ray all his songs would come near, if not at the very end of the album. I don't know why they did that. Also, the first album with Patrick Moraz, as official member, even though they said later on that, he was just a support member. Sorry, Justin. Sorry, John. Bull. Patrick Moraz was official member. You just don't. I won't get into it. I'm sorry. But anyway, fantastic album. I love it. Still love it today. Moody Blues, Long Distance Voyager. Number 3. Okay. If you're a Moody Blues fan, and you know these albums, you know the top 2 here. These 2 albums, I just love to death. Number 2. When I even just thinking about these 2 albums, just sends chills down my spine. That's how great these 2 albums are. I know there's probably people out there that would think one of the albums that came before it are better. I disagree. To me, these 2 albums are the top 2. Released in 1971. Every good boy deserves favor. Let's open this up. Fantastic cover, as always. Interesting cover. I mean, it's not a smooth cover. It's kind of rough. I mean, it's almost like corduroy, a corduroy cover. Very interesting. Remember when I first opened this up, took the plastic cover off. I'm like, wow, this is strange. It's almost like a canvas. They painted this on a canvas. But anyway, I said released in 71. Like I said, this album just mind blowing. starts out with Procession. It's like this little journey, little uh, miniature journey from oh caveman times, where then down through history, and then it goes right into the story in your eyes. Oh, I love that song. Another song I can never get tired of. Uh, Goes in that our guessing game. Uh, Great song by Ray. Not one of his best, but still a great song. Emily's Song, fantastic by John. After You Came, another great Graeme Edge song. Further proof he could write great songs. I just wish he would have done more. One More Time to Live, fantastic, haunting song. Nice to Be Here, another fantastic song by Ray. You Can Never Go Home. Uh, One thing I noticed about this album is Justin only sings one, two songs. Yeah, he only sings on two songs well, no, three. He does vocals with Thomas, Mike, and John, or Ray, Thomas, Ray, Mike, and John on After You Came. But other than that, he only sings two songs. So on the very few albums that he hardly sings on. But You Can Never Go Home, haunting song. And then it ends with My Song, Mike Pinder. Oh, love it. I mean, this whole album is strong. Really, when you really, it's really not any weak songs on it. But also, I got this on CD, and it's got two additional songs. It's got Story in Your Eyes, original version. It's okay. I like the official version. It says original version, but I like the official version that came on the album. And then it has The Dreamer by Ray Thomas and Justin Heyward. Haunting song. I love it. It's great. If you ever get a chance, get the CD version. The Dreamer is fantastic. All right. Every good boy deserves favors. Number 2. Okay, so you know what number 1 is if you're a Moody Blues fan. Now, this album, it just, if I was ever to do my top 100 songs, or 100 songs, 100 albums, this would be number 1. It's that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's the greatest rock album ever made. I mean, nothing comes close. Maybe, every good boy deserves favor does, but a distance close. Anyway, released in November 1967, Days of Future Past. The ultimate rock album, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I never get sick of any of these songs. I mean, and it's a funny story. When they were going to the studio to do this album, it was supposed to be something completely different. Dvorak or something. They're supposed to do this New World Symphony, and they decided, well, no, we're not going to do that. we not even attempt to do that. And I think it was the right move. The record company, of course, was going, well, that's not what we wanted, but they put this out anyway. I mean, right from the beginning, the day begins. Mike doing the narration. I mean, just haunting, just fantastic. Dawn is a feeling. Justin and Mike, fantastic job. The morning, another morning. Ray doing his, being Ray, it's fantastic time, fantastic vocals. Lunch break, peak hour, good song. If there's any weakness on this album, it's that song right there, because it kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of out of proportion with the rest of the album, but this album is so strong, that song takes nothing away from it. The afternoon, of course, everybody knows, what everybody knows is Tuesday afternoon. Goes into the evening, time to get away, sunset, twilight time, and then ends with the nights in white satin. And Mike doing his reading Graeme's poem. I mean, just it is. It's the greatest album ever made, and I'll go to my grave saying that. There's nothing that will ever take that down from number one with me. I mean, it'll be, well, maybe I shouldn't say never, but from what I'm looking at right now, it's never going to happen. I can't see it happening. It's just Days of Future Past is just too good. It inspired my writing in my book series that I'm writing, called Days of Future Past. Day Begins, Morning Glory, Nights in White Satin. If my books were ever made into a movie, those songs would have to be included. I would get on my knees and beg the Moody Blues to let them use that in the movie. I just love this album. But anyway, that's another fantastic cover. I mean, you can sit there and look at all these neat little things. I'm still finding stuff I never knew was there. Oh yes. Recap. My number one, Days of Future Past. Number two, Every Good Boy Deserves Favor. Number three, Long Distance Voyager. Number four, To Our Children. Number five, On the Threshold of Dream. I should have got the CDs. It'd been a lot easier to hold these up with the camera. Number six, On the Other Side of Life. Number seven, In Search of the Lost Chord. Number eight, Question of Balance. Number nine, Seventh Sojourn. Number 10, Octave. Number 11, The Present. Number 12, Keys of the Kingdom. Number 13, Sirlum. Number 14, Strange Times. And number 15, December. That's my ranking of Moody Blues. So, anyway, let's see how you rank the Moody Blues albums. If you do, put them down below in the comments. I'd like to see that. See how close we come to jiving together, how far off we are, what your number one is. Like I said, my number one will always be Days of Future Past. Nothing's ever going to take that away. But anyway, leave a comment down below. This is this is going to take a long time to download onto YouTube. But leave a comment down below. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. But anyway, have a good evening, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye.